We'll have a look at the 16th century in English literature. We will look into some of the important events in the 16th century in England which would affect the English literature of the age. The 16th century means the years from 1500 to 1600. In order to get a clearer picture of this age, we will see who were the kings and queens of England at that time and what were the important events that would affect the literature produced during that period. From the year 1485 to 1509, England was ruled by King Henry VII. He had come to the throne after defeating the royal house of York in the War of the Roses. He began what is known as the Tudor dynasty in England. This dynasty ended after the death of Queen Elizabeth, who was unmarried. After the death of Henry VII, England was ruled by King Henry VIII, his son. Henry VIII married 6 times and beheaded 2 of his wives. During his reign, the printing press, invented by Johannes Gutenberg, had become very popular and books were published widely, thus encouraging people to read and be educated. More writers came to the fore. The writings of Chaucer also were circulated all over England, inspiring people to think critically regarding the practices of the church and the state. The Renaissance period extends roughly from the year 1500 to the year 1600. The term Renaissance means rebirth. The movement had its origin in Italy and it gradually spread throughout Europe. The movement had significant influence over English literature at that time. It was also around this time, in 1517, that Martin Luther started the movement of Protestantism. He was a priest who discovered the corrupt practices and immoral activities in the Catholic Church. He wanted to bring about the Reformation in the Church. The Bible was previously available only in the Greek and Latin language and was read and interpreted by the priests only. After the start of the Reformation, the Bible was translated to the local language in Germany, England, and other countries. King Henry VIII was married to Catherine of Aragon for 23 years, but was not able to bear him a son. Their only child to survive was Mary, later known as Bloody Mary for her bloody reign and killing of thousands of Protestants. Henry VIII was disappointed with Catherine of Aragon for her inability to give him a son. By the 1520s, Henry VIII had developed a fondness for Anne Boleyn, a lady-in-waiting to Catherine of Aragon. Wanting to marry her, he sought a divorce and asked for permission to do so from the Pope. When the Pope refused to allow him to divorce her, he broke off from the Roman Catholic Church and established himself as the head of the Church of England, thus ushering in the Reformation in England. Anne Boleyn and Henry VIII married in 1533 and Anne gave birth to Elizabeth, who was to be the greatest of all the queens of England decades later. After the death of Henry VIII, his young son Edward VI, then only 9 years old, ascended the throne. He died 6 years later.